The Dexter Resurrection official full trailer is finally here. I sat around waiting all day for this trailer to drop, so let's just get right into it. We're gonna do a little breakdown. Let's talk about it. I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. So a lot going on in this trailer. It opens up with Dexter in the hospital. As we know, he's been shot by Harrison, and we don't know exactly how much time has passed. How much time did he have to spend in the hospital recovering? But Dexter is narrating during the scene and says, "Somebody once told me you have to go through hell to achieve resurrection. Hallelujah." And we have confirmation that Angel Batista was there in the hospital, which a lot of you in my comment section on the teaser trailer breakdown, you guys were right. A lot of you were suspecting that Angel was in the hospital talking to Dexter, so they finally come face to face. And Dexter's face here is so funny, like he is absolutely shook. He probably never expected to ever see Angel Batista ever again. And you know, Angel is in his usual good spirits. He says it's like seeing a ghost and hugs Dexter. And he says, "Chief Bishop told me that you were alive. She said you were the Bay Harbor Butcher." Oh my god, I literally had chills when I saw this scene in the trailer. Honestly, I had chills throughout the entire trailer. So then Dexter goes into the bathroom of the hospital and escapes out the window. And his narration is saying, "So much for the happy reunion." So when set images first broke months ago, and I shared them here on the channel, we theorized that this outfit is him escaping from the hospital, and he gets into a stolen car. And then he makes his way to New York City. We know that the whole season is taking place in New York City, which I'm super excited about. And Dexter in the trailer says, "What better place to hide than where nobody knows who you really are?" And we get our first clip of the character called Blessing Kamara. We got some previous character details about him. We know that he is a ride-share driver. And he says to Dexter, "This is the greatest city in the world." So Dexter is reading a couple of newspapers, and there's a lot of text on the newspapers, so let's try to break it down a little bit. Some of the headlines read, "Ride and Die. Dark passenger strikes again." So that is very interesting because, as we know, Dexter calls his urge to kill his dark passenger, and it looks like there's a serial killer that they're calling the dark passenger. Some other text on the paper says, "Ride-share drivers mutilated. NYPD struggles to find leads." So the fact that we were just talking about Blessing Kamara being a ride-share driver, I fear for him. I don't know if he's going to make it out of this season alive. We do know that Dexter sort of develops a friendship with him, so I feel like it's going to be one of those things where him and Dexter develop a friendship, we're going to grow to care about him, and then by the end of the season, he's probably going to die. The other paper says, "Nightmarish NYC killing spree continues." And then we see a little glimpse of inside of one of the papers, and it says, "Dark passenger strikes again," and "Ride-share drivers targeted by serial killers." They also have an image of a person with a black mask on, and so I tried to find a really high quality image of the newspaper to see what some of the smaller text says, and it's hard to read everything, but from what I can see here it says, "Concealed their identity, brandishing a chain-like saw around the driver's neck. The victim's name has not been released at this time, and the death remains under investigation. The incident is the latest in a string of similar attacks attributed to the Dark Passenger, which is the fictional rideshare company for Dexter Resurrection, kind of like Uber." It says, "Your car is urging drivers and passengers alike to remain vigilant and report suspicious activity to NYPD immediately." So far, that is all that I can read in the newspaper. And then we get a quick shot of Dexter somewhere dark, possibly underground, looking around with a flashlight. And then in a different scene, it's him and Krysten Ritter's character, Mia LaPierre, aka Lady Vengeance, who has been confirmed to be a serial killer herself. And he says to her, "Tell me more about your friends." And she says, "Prater likes to own things." So Leon Prater is played by Peter Dinklage, who is a billionaire. And then we get a few quick shots of Dexter in disguise getting into Charlie's car in Central Park. Charlie is played by THURMAN. She is playing Leon Prater's right-hand woman and head of security. And then he's in an elevator going to see Prater. Charlie says to Dexter, "Time to meet the man of the manor." And Prater says to Dexter, "Welcome. I cannot express how excited I am to meet you." And Dexter says, "You really like serial killers. And Prater says, I pride myself in finding the best of the best in every field. And then we see some of the serial killers that we know are going to be in the season. We see Al, played by Eric Stonestreet, Gareth, played by David Dastmalchian, and Lowell, who was played by Neil Patrick Harris. So I feel like a lot of the theories that we talked about here on the channel are turning out to be true. For some reason, Prater is obsessed with serial killers and likes to collect them. And I'm guessing Krysten Ritter's character is already within his collection. So Dexter said, tell me about your friends. So Krysten Ritter is already kind of like working for Prater before she even meets Dexter. And he prides himself on finding the best of the best. So, but what I want to know actually is, how does Prater know that Dexter is a serial killer? Back in Miami, he was never found out as the Bay Harbor Butcher. And then Angela in Iron Lake figured out that he's the Bay Harbor Butcher, but doesn't necessarily have enough evidence to confirm that. And I don't even think it's public knowledge. I mean, unless somehow it got to the news, like maybe once he escapes the hospital, then they put out like an APB for him and it's all over the news and Prater somehow locates him in New York City. But unless it was on the news somehow, how the hell does Prater know that Dexter is a serial killer? I'm very excited to find that out. In an article from USA Today, we got some details on these serial killers. Al's serial killer's name is Rapunzel, Gareth's name is the Gemini killer, and Lowell is the tattoo collector. So Prater said, I pride myself in finding the best of the best in every field. So clearly they all are going to have different kinds of talents when it comes to being a serial killer. And I am just so excited to see how this turns out. Honestly, I don't even know what to expect. So then Lowell says, let's show and tell, baby. And Lady Vengeance walks in and Dexter says to Prater, so there are others? And Prater says they're on their way. So I wonder if Dexter means others besides the few that we already know, or if this is just him prior to meeting those three. Like when Dexter says there are others, is he referring to Al, Gareth, and Lowell just before he met them? Or are there going to be even more serial killers? The thing with trailers is that they chop it up and stitch scenes together so that it can be a little bit misleading. So we'll see if there's even more serial killers or if it's just this kind of small group. And then we see Dexter in his kill outfit in another scene, and he says only in New York. We get a quick shot of him walking near Washington Square Park. In another kill room, he says the famous line, tonight's the night. We see him walking through Times Square, which we saw some set photos that I shared here on the channel several weeks ago. And then Uma Thurman's character Charlie is making some kind of money deal. It looks like the guys behind her could be playing poker, and she puts an envelope inside of a box of money. And then she's seen walking out of a building and on the phone to someone, I'm assuming Prater, she says, invitation delivered. Again, we saw some set images of this when they were filming this scene that we talked about here on the channel. So, I don't know, she said invitation delivered. Is Prater trying to acquire another serial killer? Maybe one of those guys playing poker happens to be a serial killer, so she went there to kind of invite him to come meet Prater. I imagine there are going to be more than just the few that we already kind of got to know. And then we get another little clip with Angel. He's in a restaurant talking to Harrison, and Angel says to him, this is a dark path you're going down. And then we see Harrison kind of like dissociating or something. He's clearly dealing with shit. He's got some darkness in him. And then we get confirmation on my theory from the teaser trailer that this is Harrison. In the teaser trailer, they didn't show this person's face. Harrison is a full-blown killer now. We see him dragging a dead body wrapped in plastic through what looks like a restaurant kitchen. Maybe it's the kitchen of the Empire Hotel where he works. Because in the teaser trailer, we saw he's in his hotel uniform beating the shit out of someone. And then we also saw someone taking crime scene photos in what looks to me could be a hotel room. So maybe he kills one of the guests. And clearly he's taken some tips from his dad with the whole plastic wrap thing. You know, Dexter brought him into his kill room for Kurt Caldwell in New Blood. So Harrison clearly picked up some pointers. Then we see Harrison grab the meat cleaver and chop this person up. And then Harrison sees one of the detectives walk in, played by Dominic Famusa, and Harrison is looking worried. I'm sure he's worried he's gonna get caught. I mean, this is really like his first kill. So, you know, I would be worried too. And then Harry Morgan is back. This is our first clip with James Remar. Harry says to Dexter, "I urge you to be careful, son." Honestly, he looks pretty good here. In the set images, he wasn't looking that great, but here he looks very good. And Dexter says to him, "I'm tired of being careful." And we see him setting up a kill room and killing someone. And then in our last little clip of the trailer, he's somewhere in a room in disguise, the disguise that we saw earlier when he was in Central Park. And he says to someone,
"What do you think?"
So I wonder who this could be. Maybe one of the other killers like Gareth or Lowell. We know that he filmed a daytime scene with Neil Patrick Harris where Dexter is wearing a black hoodie just like this one. So maybe this is the same day. Although I don't know if this really looks like Neil Patrick Harris's build. This could be someone else. I don't know who it could be. I was thinking maybe Harry. Maybe he's like hallucinating Harry talking to him, but this person seems to be in all black, and I feel like Harry is going to be in the same outfit throughout the season. All the set images that we've seen of Harry, he's in like this dark blue button down, so I don't know if this could be him. But yeah, a lot going on in this trailer. I honestly had chills the entire time because I was not expecting to literally see the reunion with Angel and Dexter, and then also just to see all of the serial killers and get confirmation that Leon Prater is collecting these people. So I am so excited. Oh my god, I sat around all day waiting for this trailer. So I think with Dexter saying to Harry, "I'm tired of being careful," it's because he didn't kill for 9 years when New Blood started, and he got a little taste of his old life in Iron Lake, and now he's itching to just let loose. And with the encouragement of Prater and all his new serial killer friends, he's gonna feel more accepted than ever. And being in a big city, it's just gonna feel so freeing to him, and I feel like he's gonna go wild. And I cannot wait to see what he gets into. I can't wait to see Harrison's storyline, honestly. I was saying in my teaser trailer breakdown, I know a lot of people didn't like Harrison in New Blood. I honestly did not mind him. I do get what people's issue with him was, but I didn't mind him at all. And I think this is a very interesting storyline for him now. You know, exploring his own dark passenger and killing people. Honestly, that trailer got me so hyped for the season. The 2-episode premiere is not that far away, July 11th. I am counting down the days, but I feel like the storyline with Leon Prater and all of the serial killers is gonna be so exciting, honestly. I can just see it. I feel like it's something fresh and different for the franchise. You know that Dexter has had a few people in his life who know his true self and have sort of accepted him for who he is, but this is on another level. Having all of these other serial killers, people who are like him, it's going to be so interesting to see, but I wonder what's going to happen because Dexter has his code where he kills other serial killers. What are these other serial killers going to be like? Do they kill innocent people? I can't imagine any of them having a similar code to Dexter. Other than Lady Vengeance, I have a feeling Lady Vengeance might have a similar code to Dexter. With a name like that, I feel like she probably kills like bad men who, you know, kill women and do bad things to women. I can see that for her. And from some of the set images that we have, it does look like Dexter and her develop some type of relationship. And I can honestly see Dexter and Lady Vengeance teaming up by the end of the season to kill Prater and kill the other serial killers because they're actually bad people. I honestly cannot believe that we saw the Angel and Dexter reunion. We know it's not going to last long. Dexter's going to hop out the window, head to New York City, but we know that Angel ends up in New York City. We've seen the set images. In fact, just the other day, I shared a video on the channel where we see David Zayas and Michael C. Hall and Jack Alcott all filming together. So it's gonna happen by the end of the season. I believe episode 9 they were filming. Angel's finally gonna catch up to Dexter. And I wonder, is he going to actually think he's the Bay Harbor Butcher? The way he said it to him in the trailer, like, Chief Bishop told me that you're the Bay Harbor Butcher. Is he gonna believe that? I definitely think Dexter's gonna get away with things for a little bit longer because they've confirmed that they are planning on doing multiple seasons. And I do feel like there's probably not enough evidence to convict him and pin him as the Bay Harbor Butcher. So I don't know. Hopefully Angel and Dexter can be friends again. I don't know how this is gonna play out, but Definitely let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment down below. I'm also intrigued by this whole dark passenger serial killer who's killing rideshare drivers. Like, what is up with that? You know, the fact that Dexter calls his urge to kill his dark passenger, and then now there's a serial killer called the dark passenger. I don't think it's him. I don't think he's the one killing these people, but that's just interesting. Also, last thing I have to say is I loved the music in the trailer. New York Groove, great song, great choice for the trailer. But please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and definitely turn on all notifications, because as we get closer to the premiere date, you can expect any sort of updates being reported here on the channel, theories, predictions, and then once the show is airing, you can definitely expect weekly breakdowns, episode reviews, recaps, theories, and everything Dexter, so you won't want to miss it. Please also go follow me over on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, and I will see you guys next time.